or not, the Celtics actually made NBA history in this finals game, becoming the first team to ever play an entire half with their fucking eyes closed. I mean, I knew that with Scott Foster officiating, this game was going to go to the Mavericks, but I didn't think that he was going to have nothing to do with it. I mean, when comparing this game to the other three that we've seen so far in this finals series, the difference is just insane. And all of that starts with Luka Doncic, because if you just look at their last game, I think it was only like 2 days ago, everyone was talking about him crying to the officials. Granted, he fouled out last game. There were a couple controversial calls, maybe to your opinion. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't one of the people that was talking about him crying to the officials, because it's something that we see all the time from him, at least in the regular season. Thankfully, I haven't seen it that much in the NBA finals besides that last game. But when I tell you the NBA media was crucifying this man because he was complaining, it was pretty crazy to see. But when it comes to the actual game itself, the thing that he was getting the most criticism for was his defense. He was letting Celtics players blow by him left, right, and center. It was absolutely ridiculous. There was no defense coming from Luka. He was seriously playing like a traffic cone on defense. It was one of the things that I went over in my old videos or TikToks, whatever. It was actually insane to see everyone just flip on him like that, considering everyone had him as like their golden boy. And then just in the span of one game, everyone was like, Luka Doncic cannot defend for shit. The Mavericks deserve to lose. They shouldn't have even been here in the first place. Like, it was crazy. The conversation was getting a bit out of hand. But with Luka's performance in this game alone, all of those conversations have been completely silenced because his defense was spectacular. All right, spectacular may be a bit dramatic, but it was a lot better than what we saw from him before in the series. He wasn't letting many players blow by him easily. He also got a steal, I'm pretty sure, on Drew Holiday. And after this game, it's very clear that Luka was hearing all of this criticism, except he didn't take it in the wrong way. He didn't look at all this and say, fuck the media, you guys don't know what you're talking about, whatever, as we've seen some other players act like before. But instead, he actually listened to it and came out in this game looking completely different, and that was a huge reason why the Mavericks were able to win this one. Also, since we're on the topic of Luka, offensively, he was also doing great. He started off in the first quarter, I'm pretty sure, with 13 points. Even though the guy still cannot hit shit from three, I'm pretty sure he went 0 for 8 from three, which is just ridiculous, but he was still getting it done on the inside, which is exactly how Kyrie Irving was getting it done. I mean, the paint presence from the Celtics team in this game was absolutely nowhere. Kyrie Irving was easily able to get to his spots in the paint, easily get the floaters, the layups, whatever he wanted, he was going to get, besides the three-point attempts. I don't know what it is about this final series and no one being able to hit their threes. Well, actually, one person was able to hit their threes, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Let's quickly circle back, though, to that whole paint presence thing from the Boston Celtics, because that was basically the entire reason why they lost this game. The Dallas Mavericks scored 60 points alone in the paint. And when you compare that to the Boston Celtics, who only scored, I'm pretty sure, like 24 points in the paint, it is actually ridiculous. And I want to give a lot of credit to everyone else on the Dallas Mavericks team, not just Kyrie and Luka. It's everyone else in this game that stepped up. Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively were two players that were huge in this game, and that was one thing that just completely shut down the Boston Celtics. They had no chance of doing anything, and seeing them just get absolutely dismantled from the inside had me questioning, where is Porzingis? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's injured. He's out for like 6 to 8 weeks. No. The Boston Celtics had him as available for this game. I thought he was going to come in and come off the bench like he did in game 1, but he was nowhere to be found. So my question for the Boston Celtics is, why would you even put him on the game as available if you're not going to put him in when you see that your team is getting beaten by the one thing that Porzingis is able to stop, or at least limit a little bit? I guarantee if you put Porzingis into that game and he didn't even do anything on the offensive end, all he did was sit back on defense and chill in the paint, it would have stopped a lot of this scoring splurge that we saw from the Dallas Mavericks. But there has to be something deeper to it. I just don't know why you would even put him as available. That makes no sense to me. Even if you put him in just to grab rebounds, because that was another thing that, like, the rebounds alone is a reason why the Mavericks won this game. I feel like I'm saying that so many times because there's so many different things. Like, the Celtics just didn't do anything good. The Mavericks won this game because of everything that they did. They out-rebounded the Boston Celtics 45 to 22. Let that sink in. Just for 45 rebounds from the Dallas Mavericks compared to 22 from the Boston Celtics. What are they doing out there? And it's kind of funny because in a lot of my other NBA Finals videos, the biggest thing I say towards the Boston Celtics and Dallas Mavericks, I guess, is that the Mavericks cannot win these games based off of twos. If the Mavericks only attack the paint, which is all they really can do, or at least what they have been doing, the Celtics are going to win every single time because they are more reliable from three and they're more likely to hit more threes or at least stay in the game because of that three-point line. And I guess technically I was proven wrong today by the Dallas Mavericks because A lot of their points, like I said earlier, was inside the paint, or at least in the mid-range, you know, just not that three-point shot. But the reason why I say that I was technically wrong is because the Boston Celtics were barely fucking shooting in the first place. I went back to see how many threes the Celtics put up before they subbed out their entire roster, and when I tell you, the Boston Celtics in 3/4 of NBA basketball only put up 26 three-point attempts. Did we just time travel back to like the fucking 90s or something? Is there even a three-point line anymore? 26 threes. This is a Boston Celtics team that could put up 26 threes in just the first quarter alone. And Jason Tatum only had 4 attempts, which I understand it's a bit ironic that I'm complaining about that when in my last video I spent like 2.5 minutes just going over all of his missed threes and complaining about how bad they were. Jason Tatum, I take everything back. I don't care if you want to put up 12 three-point attempts again. As long as you're just throwing them up and some of them are going in, I'm okay. It's like the Dallas Mavericks fixed their defense, right? In this game, their defense was huge by every single player on the Mavericks. Everyone stepped up. Yet the Celtics still thought it was a good idea just to attack the paint every single time. They were getting fucked down there. Okay, that sounds crazy, but you know what I mean. When the Celtics took out all of their players at around the 3-minute mark in the third quarter, the broadcast became so stale and boring. They said, fuck it, let's go interview Dirk. This dude was just wanting to watch his team and he got pushed to the side to go do a damn interview talking about the differences in these games. Like, that's how much of a dominant performance there was from the Dallas Mavericks. And I guarantee everyone would have left this arena by the fourth quarter if it wasn't for Tim Hardaway Jr. going 5 for 6 from 3. He shot damn near the same amount of threes as the Boston Celtics did just in 6 minutes alone. It was ridiculous. But the big question from this video is something along the lines of, does this win mean anything for the Dallas Mavericks? And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit split. I just want to say kind of, because on one side, I look back at their last game and see how close that was and how different things could have been had Luka not fouled out, or if Kyrie even hit this 1-3. This series really could have been 2-2 right now. But then there's the other side, which is just how the Boston Celtics have handled everything this year. I feel like they've never really had a moment where they felt like the job was finished, especially because they have been in the finals not that long ago. They know the feeling. They know what they have to do to actually win the championship. Not saying that the Mavericks don't, because they do have Kyrie, obviously, but what I'm saying is that the Celtics as a team, I feel like have been through a lot more. Not to mention they have Joe Mazzulla, who was showing them UFC fights when they went up 3-0 just to show that the opponent can always come back in the game, I guess. If I really did have to decide whether or not this game meant anything for the Dallas Mavericks, I'm gonna say it didn't. I still feel like we're gonna see the Celtics celebrate this championship on their home floor in Game 5. But that is just my opinion. Be sure to leave yours down below in the comments. I read and respond to everyone. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed. While you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe as well, as it does help out the channel a ton. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys after Game 5. Later.